Yeah, very new at it.
Yeah.
Goes all right though. Just
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking him to Tassie.
yeah, he'd
win a week, mate, up there.
he'd be hit over there, mate. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's edition of ATB-TV. Filming from home this Friday morning. As you can see with the opening bit of vision, I did venture down to the Warrnambool Beach on Wednesday morning. I rose with all the early rising staff, left here about 4 in the morning and drove for an hour, and thought I drove for 6 hours. I thought I landed in Launceston. It was that cold, windy and wet, but all good. We got a little bit of vision of Equietto and Falago having their early morning canter and jog and gallop and wade through the water there at the Killarney Beach. It's about 10 minutes west of Warrnambool, where the Darren Weir horses all go there on, well, I think every day of the week. They alternate their cross training between the dunes, the beach, and obviously the gallop on the course proper and all that. But yeah, a lot of the horses are down there for the reason to use the great beach facilities that are there at Killarney. A little bit later on we'll have a chat to Jared McLean about his thoughts on Equietto, and yeah, you can enjoy that bit of vision a bit later on. Righto, we'll quickly move through our runners for the week. We had, as you can see, I got my little pink whiteboard up here which will help me through. 10 runners for the week. We had one winner, a few so-so runs, a few pass marks, so there's a little bit of variation there. We'll quickly go back to last Friday night, where the horse that will feature in the little bit of vision later on, Equietto, ran a fantastic race for third at Moonee Valley, ridden by Craig Williams. Looked like winning at the 50, but just got overhauled by the favourite, ridden by Damien Oliver, who crept up on the rails and nabbed us late. We actually were bloused by another horse for second right on the line, but that run was fantastic. Craig Williams come back full of positive thoughts. I think one of his lines was, "I won't get beaten on that horse again." Caught him by surprise when he let him go around the 600. He actually probably burned up a few field tickets a bit early than he would have liked, but he now knows the horse, and I'm pretty sure Craig will be putting his hand up to ride him again. And Tonto might go around next Wednesday at Sandown. Ticket to Toorak ran at Flemington the next day along with Falago. Both on face value they were 6th and 7th, but both were pleasing. Ticket to Toorak jumped well. He sort of had to cart a lot of the field up, but he stuck to his task well, finished 6th, probably beaten about 4 or 5 lengths, but Damien Lane was positive in his thoughts, and I think from here we'll go to Colac on Cup Day. There's a benchmark 78 1100 metre race which should suit him down to the ground. Falago travelled well during the race. It looked like it was a real live chance as they entered the straight, but just got tired. Second up, he'll derive heaps from that run, and I think there's a 2000 metre race at Flemington again coming up in about 10 days, so he'll head to that race much fitter, and probably that run or the next run he should be at his absolute peak. Same day we had Kayatika finish a disappointing 8th at Kyneton. Mitch Aiken rode. Very positive on the mare. He jumped her out, she posied up, and she actually travelled really well until about the 400 when the pressure come on, and look, unfortunately she had little to give, and yeah, for her it is goodbye. She showed us a little bit first prep, but this prep she hasn't been able to sort of continue on with that promise, so unfortunately for her lot of owners, she'll be going up for sale in the next week or two. The next day at Kilmore we had Manor Trust, ridden by Brad Rawilla, finished 5th. Again, disappointing. He had a lovely run in transit, probably looked the winner, you know, mid-race, but again, when Brad asked him to go, he only just did enough. You know, whether he's kidding to us or not, I'm not too sure, but he holds his form to the line without actually finishing it off as well as we'd like to see, especially given the run he had. And you look back to Stall, it sort of mirrors that race a little bit as well. He will be given another chance at Echuca next. I think that's next Friday. Where he'll just change up the training a little bit just to try and reinvigorate his mind, and hopefully he's going to get another chance at Echuca next Friday. We moved to Sandown on Wednesday, and we had Edge of War running around in a 1400 metre race. Again, it looks like it's going to be a run that'll just tighten him up for races down the track. He'll have he had Damien Oliver ride, and Ollie was thinking on the home turn he was a winning chance, but his form, he couldn't hold that form just with fitness, but commented that he'd be right to go wherever we go next start. There was an idea it was going to be in 9 days' time, or as I sit here now, next week at Moonee Valley. Stable reports might be that they'll just freshen him up a bit and look for another race the week after, but we'll get those reports through in the next few days as to what those future plans will be. But all in all, he's come along nicely. Our winner for the week was Typecast up at Wyong. A filly resuming. She had a couple of runs last prep and showed a lot of promise. Snowden Camp have always held her in high regard, and off the back of a couple of nice trials, which the trials have shown us a bit of winning form, she came out and did a terrific job to win with Winona Costin riding. Went out equal favourite with Tony McAvoy horse around the $2.50 mark, and she jumped well, but then Winona had to go back just to find some, just to get in rather than be through wide. And if you don't know Wyong, it's a little bit like Moonee Valley. You don't want to be too far back on the corner. Around about the 400, she started to move on the filly, but obviously with a lot of horses in front of her, she was pushed wide and was the widest horse on the home turn. I think in Peter Snowden's words, she was probably 10 to 1 to win from there, but full credit to her. She stuck her head out and she actually motored home just to get up right on the line. It was the win of a promising little filly going forward. Now, I'm not 100% sure of the plans from here, but it was a tough run first up, so she might get 2 or 3 weeks just to recover and ready to go forward. But look, for all you owners, that was a win full of promise. Like I said, you don't see them do what she did from that far back on the home turn at Wyong. So congratulations, well done, and we certainly look forward to following her career as it progresses. I went to Terang yesterday. We had 2 runners there in Shiny Lass and White House Affair. Again, you look at face value and you see an 8th and a 6th, and you think, they were disappointing. Well, one had no luck whatsoever, which was Shiny Lass, so I'll touch on her first. I know there's a little bit of conjecture about the ride, but I was there with another owner, and the plain instructions were to let her settle where she's comfortable, whether that's 4th or 5th or 4th or 5th last. But the aim was to get as wide as we could in the straight. Terang plays funny these days. Some jockeys think the inside's the best, but if you looked at all the replays, you need to be out and running in the middle of the track or wider to get the momentum up. The ground was obviously just a little bit better there. They did have 33 mils to rain over the course of the week, so you can just get that uneven playing field. Dean tried his best. If you have a look in the home straight, he tried to get as wide as he could, but unfortunately the winner and another horse were out there, bar jumping the outside fence. He couldn't get no wider. He waited for the split to come. It didn't happen. So as the jocks do, you've got to revert to plan B. So he tried to go back to the middle of the track. He got back there, but then got held up by a couple of grades. So she's been beaten 3/4 of a length, ran 8th, and had her momentum blocked 2 or 3 times in the home straight. When you've got horses all over the place in the straight there at Terang, it's hard to get a clean run, especially with these middle distance stays. You don't want their momentum interrupted, and unfortunately she was interrupted a couple of times. The positive from it, like Darren Weir said, is she ran up to what we expected. She just had no luck in running, and she'll go around in a similar race in a couple of weeks' time. So look, disappointing. It's like the one the race that gets away. The ground was perfect for her, a soft 5. She just didn't have the luck in running, but if she holds that form for the next you know, up until the next start in a couple of weeks' time, I'm pretty sure she'll be going close to winning. White House Affair, she looked really disappointing on face value. That was sort of another race we expected. You know, you expect her to figure in the finish. But Darren Weir did come to me before Dean Yendall got off and said, look, he's seen something in the runs that suggests that we go ahead with her, keep going with her. Similar race in a fortnight's time, and he said she's not far away from winning. So if Weary's saying that, with the people that are knocking on his door to get horses into the barn, it's worth persevering. You know, what a future holds after that, it's probably not great in terms of being progressive, but it's worth pushing on to, you know, a race, whether it's Ararat or Stall or Colac, similar grade, and trying to nail that win with her. Later that night, or last night, was Imaging. Again, was only an 8th, but it was a hot benchmark 70 he was in. He did roll into the race in pretty good trial form, but he probably met a few Saturday class horses there, especially the winner, who now heads to the Australian Guineas, so that's probably a few links better than his best form. The positives were Brad Ruwilla got off and said the horse was ready to win when he steps out to his more favourable 1400 metre trip. So he raced straight, he looked like he over-raced a little bit early, but that sort of generally is him, especially when they're jostling for position and momentum, but seemed to be pretty gun barrel straight. So we'll take Brad's word for that, and we'll wait for a race in the next fortnight or 3 weeks over 13 or 1400.
Either. I've got the porter truck drawn up to go in, just because it's got to come back and get breeze.
Back to our 2 runners this week. We head to Randwick tomorrow, where Wearshaw goes around in I think it's a benchmark 78 over the mile, so it'd be great to see him out to that distance. Because he's up in grey compared to his rating, he actually will get in really nicely on the weight, so I think 54.5, but Winona Costin claims 1.5, so 53 kilos, a luxury weight to be carrying. The only negative obviously is barrier 14, but his racing style is to get back, let him settle and then run home. So for the barrier, it's probably not necessarily a bad thing, but I love the fact of the weight drop, and the mile should suit him down to the ground. Obviously we didn't get things the way we wanted at last start. A lot of conjecture over the ride, bad luck. Still hit the line well to be beaten. You're not very far in a really nice race. So all things going equal, we should see a really nice run from Wearshaw, and yeah, I'd be having something each way on that bloke for sure. We also have one of our horses that headed over to our South Australian based trainer Damien Batters in Already Leica, their former Matthew Williams trained mare. She has her first run for the stable at Bordertown on Sunday. Probably a little bit quicker than we expected her to be up and racing, but Damien was really happy with her progression. Obviously being a sprinter, doesn't take as long to get them up to fitness levels, and he was really happy with the way she galloped on Tuesday and had no hesitation, and having her first up over 1100 metres in a 0 to 58. Now, if you put a line through her form, while we were disappointed that she couldn't win races here in country Victoria, those 58 class races will be a lot stronger than what she'll meet over there at Bordertown and similar type races. The fact she's first up, obviously a little bit of a query. From barrier 8, I expect Jamie Carr, who's one of the better riders over there in South Australia, to have her in the firing line. And you know, look, with any luck, she's probably a genuine each way chance and could be a winning chance. You know, good luck to all those owners that have stayed in her. It's the reason why we've sent her over there, to try and nail these type of races, and you know, they can put a little bit of form together and get a bit of confidence from winning. They can progress on. I think Damien had Flying Paris from Matty Williams' stable and won a couple of races with her, and she's been very competitive at Morphettville the last couple of runs and even last prep. So that's it in the definites. Next week at Sandown we're more than likely going to have Equietto, as I touched before, go around in a Vobis race over 1,000 metres, a 3-year-old benchmark 70, so he holds his Valley form. He'll be something to be looking at and probably following there. Arizona Girl will follow on from her good Geelong run, and she'll be there in the distance race. I'm not 100% sure the grade will be around about a 70 or a 78, probably 2400. So we look forward to seeing her again. She's in terrific form. Long Time's just had a few little feet issues, but over those, and she'll be nominated for a race there at Sandown. But there's all 1300 metre, but there's also a 1400. Probably suits a little bit better the week after. Stable will just see how she comes along, but she'll be running at either one of those next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. We have Esprit de Soul. Mark Riley commented this morning that he actually stood on a nail, but nothing serious. It shouldn't hinder any of his work, and he'll head to Ballarat next Thursday in a distance race. What else have we got? Tintaglia, February 15th at Ararat. It's a prospective race we've got eyed off there. It's a 2,000 metre race. She obviously ran well over that trip and track last time, so hoping she can head there. The good filly up at Tony Gollan's, Red Handle, she's all going well, set to debut in 8 days' time, so that's the following Saturday. So I've got a little bit ahead of myself there in terms of getting to that following weekend, but it just gives you a rough idea of who might be going around where and when. Obviously we've missed trials. It was meant to be trials today at Camperdown, but they were called off. I think they may go around next week, so we'll have the likes of Silver Stratum and Himagee Joe, etc., will more than likely be trialling next week, and there might be the odd one of those not far off going to the racetrack for their debuts. That's it. We'll cut to that bit of vision now of Equietto, partnered by Falago, but it's mainly highlighting Equietto as his race career kicks into gear, and a bit of a chat to Jared McLean. Have a great weekend, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back next week with Darren Dance, and we'll bring you more of what ATB has to offer. We've been here this morning. We've watched a couple of ATBs just have some work on the beach in the water in Falago and Equietto. Standard sort of thing for these horses down here, mate?
Yeah, just a normal day for us. Yeah, as you said, alluded to, weather's not great, but not surprisingly for us to get this sort of weather in February. But yeah, both horses just went through the motions this morning.
Yep.
Bit of a trot in the canter in the heavy sand, and then a wade in the water to finish off their exercise. And yeah, both horses are in good order. Both ran well enough on the weekend, and look forward to their next outings.
Recovered now from those races, or similar process, or taking place?
No, they're good. They're just back in the system as normal.
Yep.
Usually when they get home, they might have a day on the water walk up back at the farm.
Yep.
But yeah, like normal. So we're truly into the following week now. On the build up to the next runs.
I actually went for a walk down the beach. That sand was thick and heavy. It must be great for fitness wise. Oh, you had trouble walking through it, let alone running through it.
Yeah, no, really good for them. Obviously we trot on the firmer sand as we warm up, but then they do all their slow cantering work in the heavy sand. You know, they go well in above their pasterns. It's a real sort of thick, heavy red sand. Every step they take their work, and I think it shows at the end of the finish. The time photo finish, you certainly want to be on a D-Weir horse, and
A lot of strength.
it's a testament to the heavy sand in here.
It's obviously been well versed. Obviously during the spring the beach got a mention. You come into the system around August, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Obviously jumped in. The results were all there, so it must have been a brilliant time to come in, but rewarding that a lot of the successful horses were coming from down here at Waterloo.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously the way Darren's got his operation now, he's got more of his younger stock in Ballarat, and the older horses who might have a couple of problems find their way down here to us at Warrnambool. So, you know, it's, yeah, certainly the Saturday winners, if they do come from here, it's not because we're, obviously there's no division between stables, but we certainly get the better stock to deal with, or the proven stock, and then, yeah, as you see, the last few months the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Just back to Equietto, obviously he's a promising little colt going forward, one he's made at Horsham, and it was a terrific run on Friday. He's only sort of caught the last 50 metres. What's your assessment of him going forward? He looks promising from what we've seen in his first two starts.
Yeah, very promising, and obviously Craig Williams, he's no deal himself. He put a big rap on the horse on Friday night. A promising horse. I know Weary's got a big opinion of him, and I think now possibly might be going back to the Valley in a fortnight.
I think Craig Williams' words when he got off was he won't be beaten next time on him, so it's a rap coming from a jockey of his quality as well.
You've heard that before, but better off coming from his mouth than somebody else's mouth.
Exactly. All right, Jared, thanks for a couple of minutes down here, and hopefully next time we can get some a bit more vision. They've got better weather, but yeah, it was great to catch up, and